pozrieť na to. Počkaj, ale kde... Akurát som to posielal Sharpovi a nejakým svojim kamarátom. Normálne, že týpek, môžeme si k tomu dať titulky, ale normálne proste týpek našiel nejaký padnutý meteorit v Paname, kámo. A on to si predstav, že on to mal iba v takej nádobke. Kokotinu. Vaký.
Kin has posted a short, chilling update that has sent his followers into a state of alarm. He stated that they are forcing him to say that everything is false, and followed it with a video explanation, saying that people he will not name have contacted him, warned him to stop his uploads, and pressured him to publicly recant his claims about the meteorite and the black organism emerging from it. Kin said he felt threatened and that he'd been ordered his followers into a state of alarm. He stated that they are forcing him to say that everything is false, and followed it with a video explanation, saying that people he will not name have contacted him, warned him to stop his uploads, and pressured him to publicly recant his claims about the meteorite and the black organism emerging from it. Kin said he felt threatened and that he'd been ordered to cease all updates immediately. For many viewers, that was the clearest possible sign that the discovery had touched nerves far beyond the online community.
Že objev zasáhol nervy ďaleko za hranicami online komunity.
The reaction has been swift and intense. Thousands of people have shared Kin's post, reposted screenshots, and expressed dread that a cover-up is underway. On comment thread.
Počúvaj, kamarát, keby že otvorí takýto trezor a toto tam je, ty koko, takáto paučina, tak sa asi, kamarát, ja neviem, ja by som sa asi zesral, ty koko, čo tebe. By som sa bal, že to po mne skočí, ty koko. Čo to je, ty koko? To je Venom, alebo čo to do piči?
And in live stream chats, viewers trade theories about who might be behind the pressure. Government bodies, private interests, or shadowy intermediaries. That speculation says as much about public distrust of institutions as it does about the strangeness of the object itself. The central fact that animated people most
ono to môže vrať takýto kamienok a potom z toho normálne začali rásť nejaké ruky alebo nejaká taká hmota. Normálne to je červíky, normálne sa to hýbalo, ty vole. A najskôr to bolo také, ani to nebolo tuším, že čierne, najskôr to bolo asi iba také inakšie farby. Také jak meso alebo niečo také. A potom, že drb čierna, ty vole.
Powerfully was not only that Kin claimed to have found something extraordinary, but that now he says he is being compelled to deny it. Followers are not merely skeptical commentators. Many are genuinely worried for his safety. Messages of concern flood his accounts. People pledge to monitor his channel, to alert one another if uploads stop, to record timestamps and screenshots so that the record remains, even if his feed goes dark. Some commentators have already organized informal watch groups, promising to keep tabs on Kin's location details.
Ale keby mal nejakú takúto hmotu, a začal by to akože nejak zverejňovať, tak ja si myslím, že tam už prídu nejakí oni typci, nie?
And to contact journalists if he disappears. The anxiety is genuine. In the world of viral discoveries, people remember cases where whistleblowers were silenced or footage vanished after outsiders intervened. Kin's statement that he is being told to say everything is false feeds directly into those memories. There is another layer to the response.
Pozeraj, ono najskôr bolo také svetlejšie. Ono sa to začalo vynárať z toho kameňa. Alebo z čoho? Z toho meteoritu. Jak mohol vedieť, že toto je meteorit? Ja by to nenapadlo. Ja by som si myslel, že to je buď nejaké vajce, alebo by som si myslel, že to je nejaký iba kameň.
Credibility versus coercion. For days, Kin's videos had been compelling because they were raw, immediate.
Pozeraj, jak sa to ibe, ty kokot. Normálne, ale... Kobutnica.
And repeatable. Viewers could pause, zoom, and debate the footage. Now, his claim that pressure is being applied has paradoxically made people take him more seriously.
Za toho ešte dotýka, chápeš? Vidí kokot.
If a discovery is true and powerful, the argument goes, it would be the kind of thing someone with authority might want to suppress. To many of his fans, this explains the sudden intensity of outreach to kin. Secrecy doesn't disprove the find, it appears to validate it. At the same time, the situation raises questions. If someone truly is being threatened, the proper response is to involve impartial safety channels and to seek legal protection. Kin says he is frightened, but determined to keep a public trace of the phenomenon. His followers, for now,
Ale reálne by sa toho nedotýkal len tak. Kokot. Pozri, čo z toho vyliezlo normálne. Z toho malého kamienka. A čím sa to živí, alebo ja neviem, vieš, akože čo mu dáva jesť, že to proste rastie.
function as a decentralized safety net. They archive his clips, share his updates broadly, and call for transparency from local officials. The expectation is simple and fierce. If the thing exists, it should not disappear into vaults and classified reports without scrutiny. In the coming days, the story will hinge on two outcomes. If Kin continues posting and nothing untoward happens to him or to the object, the community will view the pressure as intimidation that failed. If his posts abruptly stop and access to the meteorite changes hands, the suspicion of a cover-up will harden into a widely held conviction. Either way, Kin's brief message, they are forcing me to say that everything is...
Takže sa nebojí, že to tak treba, ja neviem, že to potom skočí alebo niečo. On si to proste len tak otvorí, tú nádobku a nechá to tak. A nič, ako pohodička.
Pulse has already altered the story's trajectory. What began as a local discovery has become an international test of transparency, trust, and the public's appetite to hold on to unexplained phenomena in the face of pressure to forget. For those unaware, his story began simply enough. While out in the field, he came across an unusual metallic stone that appeared to have fallen from the sky. At first, Kin treated it like any extraordinary find, a possible meteorite, and his early videos captured nothing more than genuine excitement at holding something rare. That excitement quickly turned to unease. Within a few days of having the stone, Kin noticed a strange black substance emerging from tiny fissures in the material. Initially, the streaks were small and glossy against the...
Počkajte, čo to ja vám asi im tam zavádzam, že? Stačí povedať. Sa šupnem sem.
The rock's surface, but they didn't stay static. Over time, the ooze multiplied and began to move in ways that no ordinary mineral should. Viewers of his TikTok clips watched the black matter stretch, pulse, and even slither behaviors that suggested agency rather than mere chemical runoff. Those motions, sometimes deliberate, sometimes strangely coordinated, are what transformed a curious geological find into one of the most widely discussed and chilling mysteries circulating online. The substance's behavior escalated. It did not merely seep. Kin's footage shows it taking on forms, climbing over nearby objects, and spreading as if guided by a purpose. He reported instances when it visibly reacted to changes in light and to sounds, as though it sensed stimuli in its environment. Some of his videos appear to show the material splitting into separate masses and later recombining, prompting speculation that it might replicate or reorganize itself. Such images compelled millions to watch, comment, and theorize. Concern about containment grew alongside interest. In one clip, Kin explained that he had placed the specimen inside a reinforced safe to prevent it from spreading. That safe has become central to his updates. He posts short videos of himself unlocking it briefly to show how the black matter is evolving. Each time the container is opened, the substance seems to have grown more complex, forming branched, web-like structures that give the impression of attempting to breach its enclosure or reach beyond the metal walls. Many viewers found its appearance eerily reminiscent of life forms imagined in science fiction, uncanny hybrids of organism and machine. Attention has not come only from online spectators. Kin says that strangers have approached him asking to purchase or seize the meteorite and its spreading contents. Some callers and visitors, according to him, framed their interest as concerns for his safety, Others were more direct in their requests. He has voiced fears that government agencies or other powerful entities might seek to confiscate the find. To forestall such an outcome, he insists, he is keeping the object secret and continuing to post footage as a public record, a way, in his view, to keep the phenomenon from disappearing into private hands without explanation. The visual evidence he shares is raw and immediate, which has intensified.
Ja normálne mám husinu, čo ti jebe, toto keď vidím, ty kokot, to normálne, si predstavím, že toto má normálne, že papulu, toto normálne hlava, kokos, telo, ruky, čo si blázen. Ja som to tak akože pozeral na tom TikToku, to ako halus, keď som toto videl. Ale furt, keď to vidí, tak úplne mám husinu z toho normálne.
The debate.
To je jeba.
Rather than relying on hearsay, audiences can watch the footage themselves and judge. That has split opinion into three main schools of thought. One group argues the material must be extraterrestrial, an alien organism or foreign matter that survived transit through space and now exhibits rudimentary behavior. Proponents point to the apparent responsiveness and form-changing ability of the substance as suggestive of life arriving from beyond Earth. A second group accepts a biological explanation but favors terrestrial origins. They propose the goo could be an unfamiliar fungus, a colony of extremophile microbes, or another form of life that either hitched a ride on the rock or rapidly colonized its surface after it landed. Their argument draws on the idea that resilient life has ways of surviving extreme conditions, and this might be a rare example of such survival in plain view. A third cohort treats the phenomenon as technological. To them, the glossy sheen, branching growth, and apparent modular behavior imply engineered matter, perhaps a self-replicating material or a type of programmable substance unknown to current science. If correct, Kin's discovery would be not only strange, but also a sample of technology far removed from human manufacture. The debate took a darker turn when Kin revealed that he was being pressured to stop. He posted an update saying he had been told to recant and halt his uploads. He even shared a short message implying he was being forced to say the whole story was false. That admission sent his followers into alarm. Thousands shared and archived his posts, and many began to speculate that a cover-up was imminent. They pointed to past incidents where extraordinary phenomena dwindled from public view once authorities or private interests
Ako ja neviem, že by som sa toho zrovna tak dotýkal, normálne prstom.
Intervened, and they read Kin's predicament as a signal that powerful actors wanted the object out of circulation. For his audience, the locked safe became a symbol, a last measure of resistance that kept the specimen from being removed without witnesses. Kin's supporters began organizing watch lists and archiving his clips in case the account suddenly went dark. Theories about who might be calling him ranged from government agencies to private collectors. Whether any of those calls were benign or hostile remains unresolved, but the suggestion of outside interference fueled the sense of urgency around the story. As of now, the black substance remains secured in the safe, and Kin keeps uploading intermittent updates. Each new video brings fresh speculation, but no definitive answers. Whether the goo is alien, biological or technological, and whether the pressure on Kin presages confiscation or something more benign, are questions the public and a growing online community are watching closely. What began as a simple discovery has become a live, unfolding mystery. One part visual evidence, one part human drama, and another part a test of how modern networks respond when a strange phenomenon collides with secrecy and suspicion. In a world increasingly captivated by the mystery of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial technology, a Twitter post by a man named Jerry, who claims to be a NASA engineer, has sparked controversy and debate. Jerry's tweet, made a few hours ago, stated that NASA and the United States government have long known how UFOs operate. However, he added a startling detail. The materials required to build such advanced craft are beyond our current engineering capabilities, as they must be fabricated in zero gravity under extreme temperatures. This single tweet sent ripples through the online community, raising questions about the knowledge held by governments and the scientific community regarding UFOs. Hours after the post gained hundreds of thousands of views, Jerry's social media account was suddenly made private and the tweet disappeared, fueling speculation that he may have been threatened or silenced. Jerry's tweet mentions that they have known for a long time how UFOs work, and the materials needed to build them require zero-gravity environments and extreme temperatures. For the millions of UFO enthusiasts and researchers who scour the internet for signs of disclosure, Jerry's tweet was a bombshell. It suggested that the government and NASA possess not only knowledge about UFOs, but also an understanding of how they function, an understanding that has not been shared with the public. By claiming that the materials needed to replicate these crafts can only be fabricated in zero gravity and under extreme conditions, Jerry alluded to a technological barrier that has prevented humanity from creating such vehicles, even if the knowledge exists. The implications of this statement were immense. If true, it would mean that the government and NASA have been aware of extraterrestrial technology for years and have been working to reverse engineer it. However, the challenges presented by Earth's gravity and the necessary extreme temperatures could explain why we have yet to see such technology openly used or disclosed. In the hours following Jerry's tweet, the post gained massive traction, quickly going viral within UFO communities. Users began to screenshot the tweet, fearing it might be deleted, and the hashtag disclosure began trending as people speculated about the truth behind Jerry's claim. However, their suspicions were confirmed sooner than they expected. Approximately 3 hours after the tweet was posted, Jerry's account was set to private, and the original tweet vanished from his profile. Those who had attempted to follow him after the tweet went viral found themselves unable to access his account. While some assumed this might have been a precaution taken by Jerry himself, others speculated that something more sinister was at play. Did Jerry delete the tweet voluntarily, or was he pressured to do so by an external force? The sudden disappearance of Jerry's account and tweet only heightened speculation. On social media platforms like Reddit and Twitter, users suggested that Jerry might have been threatened or forced into silence. This theory gained traction among UFO researchers who argued that the rapid sequence of events was too coincidental to be dismissed. They pointed to similar cases where whistleblowers or individuals claiming insider knowledge on sensitive subjects had suddenly gone silent or faced legal threats. Jerry's claim, if taken at face value, opens up a range of theories about what NASA and the United States government truly know about UFOs. Some proponents of the extraterrestrial hypothesis believe that Jerry's tweet is further evidence that the government has been in possession of UFO technology for decades, dating back to the famous Roswell incident in 1947. They suggest that reverse engineering efforts have been ongoing, but the advanced nature of the materials used in these craft has made it impossible to replicate them with current technology. The idea that materials need to be fabricated in zero gravity aligns with theories that UFOs use propulsion systems and alloys unlike anything available on Earth. According to these theories, some of the materials in question may possess properties that change under different gravitational and thermal conditions, making it impossible to replicate them in Earth's gravity. If NASA and other government agencies have access to these materials, they would need space-based facilities to recreate the conditions under which they could be produced. Facilities that may not exist or are not yet advanced enough. Another theory circulating online is that Jerry's tweet was an intentional leak designed to gauge public reaction. Some suggest that NASA or the government might be preparing for eventual disclosure, and that Jerry's tweet could have been an experiment to see how people would respond to the idea of UFO technology being real but unattainable with our current engineering capabilities. However, when the reaction proved too intense or too immediate, the tweet was quickly pulled and Jerry's account was locked down. Interestingly, the mainstream media has remained largely silent on the topic. Despite the tweet going viral within certain online communities, major news outlets have yet to report on the incident. This has led some to suggest that the media is complicit in hiding information about UFOs and government cover-ups. Others argue that without verifiable credentials or information on Jerry's identity, the story is too speculative for mainstream coverage. Meanwhile, the UFO community is divided. Many enthusiasts and researchers have embraced Jerry's tweet as a sign that disclosure is imminent, or that insiders are beginning to leak critical information. They point to the rapid deletion of the tweet as evidence of a cover-up and speculate that Jerry may have been pressured into silence to prevent further dissemination of information. Others, however, remain skeptical. Some argue that without proof of Jerry's identity as a NASA engineer, there is no reason to believe his claims. In the age of misinformation and online pranks, it is easy for anyone to fabricate a backstory and post a provocative tweet to gain attention. The lack of any concrete evidence beyond the tweet itself has led some to dismiss the incident as nothing more than a hoax or publicity stunt. Jerry's tweet, whether authentic or not, highlights the ongoing desire within the public to understand the truth about UFOs and the technology behind them. The rapid dissemination of the tweet and the subsequent speculation surrounding its disappearance demonstrate the hunger for answers and the skepticism toward government transparency. The mystery surrounding Jerry's account leaves more questions than answers. If Jerry's claim is true, then the implications are vast, pointing to decades of secrecy and technological pursuit that has yet to bear fruit. On the other hand, if the tweet was a hoax, it still reflects the deep cultural fascination and belief in UFO phenomena that persists within society. In the aftermath of Jerry's mysterious tweet and its sudden deletion, the online community began drawing parallels between his experience and the stories of other whistleblowers who have come forward in recent years with information about UFOs, only to face threats and intimidation. These whistleblowers, many of whom claim to have worked for government agencies or military organizations, have detailed experiences that suggest a concerted effort to silence those who possess knowledge of extraterrestrial phenomena. As Jerry's situation unfolded, these accounts added further weight to the theory that there may be an organized effort to suppress information about UFOs, particularly when it comes to advanced technology and potential government involvement. Over the past decade, multiple whistleblowers have emerged, risking their careers and safety to disclose what they claim to know about UFOs and secret government programs. Some of the most high-profile cases have involved former military personnel, defense contractors, and even NASA employees who have hinted at or directly accused the government of concealing the truth about extraterrestrial activity. One such case involves former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo, who headed the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Elizondo resigned in 2017, citing the lack of transparency within the Department of Defense regarding UFO encounters. While Elizondo has managed to speak openly about the program and the government's knowledge of UFOs, he has hinted that others who tried to come forward faced more severe repercussions, including threats to their reputations and personal safety. According to Elizondo, some of these individuals were warned to keep silent, and their careers were subsequently derailed when they refused to comply. This aligns with the theory that whistleblowers like Jerry, who reveal too much, may be forced into silence through intimidation tactics. More recently, several military personnel have come forward with their own accounts of UFO encounters and the subsequent threats they faced when attempting to disclose their experiences. Former Air Force personnel have also come forward, claiming that they witnessed UFOs near nuclear facilities. These whistleblowers allege that they were told not to discuss what they had seen, with some even being forced to sign non-disclosure agreements. In some instances, these individuals have described encounters with unidentified men who visited them after the sightings, warning them to stay quiet. Such reports suggest that a shadowy network may exist to silence those who have direct knowledge of UFO activity, especially when it involves sensitive areas like military bases and nuclear installations. The phenomenon of threats and intimidation is not limited to military personnel. Several civilian employees, including those working for defense contractors and NASA, have shared their experiences of being warned or threatened after revealing what they know about UFOs. Some have described receiving anonymous phone calls, having their phones tapped, or being followed by unmarked vehicles after discussing their work or their encounters. One example involves a former contractor who claimed to have worked on classified aerospace projects. He reported seeing unusual crafts and technology that, to his knowledge, did not belong to any known nation on Earth. After casually mentioning these observations to colleagues, he received a visit from government officials who warned him to stay silent, emphasizing that his clearance and future employment opportunities could be at risk if he continued discussing such topics. This case mirrors the intimidation Jerry...
Veríte na týchto mužoch čiernych ako? Neviem, ja som videl nejaké videá, kde týpci proste mali úplne iný face. Oni akože nemali takýto normálne ľudský, ale mali ako keby taký biely skôr face. taký úplne taký divný. Taký keby, jak chcem povedať, že vyzerá jak jašter, ale niečo také, neviem to úplne presne popísať, bolo to fakt také divné. Oni tam akože dokázali napríklad, že ovláda normálne že ľudskú mysel, že normálne nejaká žena čo spravila.
Might have faced after his tweet, suggesting that this pattern extends beyond the military and into the private sector. Another case involves a former NASA engineer who came forward anonymously in 2019. He claimed that NASA had classified footage and images of unidentified objects captured during space missions, which were never released to the public. According to the engineer, he and his colleagues were told in no uncertain terms that if they ever spoke about what they had seen, their careers would be over. The engineer eventually retired and went public under a pseudonym, claiming that the threats were what had kept him silent for so long. Given the history of whistleblowers facing threats and intimidation, it's no wonder that many believe Jerry's silence and the deletion of his tweet are not coincidental. The sequence of events, the rapid rise in visibility of his tweet, followed by the sudden removal of his account and message, bears striking resemblance to other cases where individuals were threatened or silenced after revealing sensitive information about UFOs. In online forums, users speculated that Jerry might have received a warning similar to those faced by previous whistleblowers. Some suggested that government officials or representatives from a covert agency could have contacted him, either coercing him into deleting his tweet or taking control of his account altogether. Others argued that the threats might have come in more indirect forms, such as an email or phone call reminding him of his obligation to protect classified information. The sudden nature of his social media blackout leaves many unanswered questions, but it fits into the broader pattern of how whistleblowers in the UFO community are often suppressed. The repeated stories of whistleblowers being threatened highlight a fundamental fear within government and military institutions: the fear of disclosure. If whistleblowers like Jerry, Bob Lazar, or others reveal information that suggests...
Ja neviem, či tomu Bob Lazarovi až tak veriť. Ako... Nejaké veci som sa tam dozvedel o ňom a... Neviem, či od neho úplne zrovna informácie nejak sú pravdivé potom. Takže tam ťažko povedať.
The government has knowledge of or access to extraterrestrial technology, it could have far-reaching consequences.
Akože predtým mi to prišlo také, že Bob Lazar akože hovorí, že som relatívne tomu veril. Ale potom sa ukázali nejaké také tvrdenia a trebárs on nič nevedel dokázať. Nič. Proste dobre, že ten stroj, že kde ti tam akože oskenujú tie kosti či čo to, neviem, akože nebolo to pre mňa úplne také, že by som tomu akože veril úplne.
Such a revelation would not only challenge current scientific understanding, but could also lead to public outcry and demand for accountability. In addition, if it were confirmed that advanced technology exists but is beyond current engineering capabilities, like Jerry suggested in his tweet, it could expose a massive gap between the government's knowledge and its ability to act on that information. This would put immense pressure on those in power to explain why such knowledge has been kept secret for so long, and what efforts, if any, are being made to advance or disclose this technology. In addition to the disturbing reports of intimidation and threats aimed at silencing whistleblowers, several individuals who claim insider knowledge have come forward with intriguing details about the advanced flight methods used by UFOs. These whistleblowers, ranging from former military personnel to aerospace engineers and defense contractors, have described technologies and propulsion systems that challenge conventional understanding of physics and aerospace engineering.
Viete, prečo si ja myslím, že napríklad ešte vôbec niekde prišli, alebo že prečo nechceli nejak zverejniť tieto, že majú treba z nejakých mimozemšťanov alebo nejaké také tie letovny alebo takéto pičoviny? Pretože on tu teraz akurát nezmienil, že ono je to proste vytvorené z materiálu, ktorý na Zemi nezískáš. A už som pozeral nejakých takých tých tiež ľudí, že čo akože vyprávajú o týchto nejakých kozmických lodiach. A tam tiež oni to hovorili, že proste z toho, čo je to vyrobené, že oni už aj chápu, že treba sa ako fungujú tie lietadlá napríklad, že dokonca neviem, či iba čisto v Amerike, ale áno, dajme tomu, že americká treba z nejaký tajný program má proste svojich ľudí, ktorých, ktorí proste cestujú a napríklad unášajú ľudí, vieš, že robia ako keby takú zámienku, že nech si myslia, že mimozemšťania sú zlí. Vieš? Ako to je celkom tiež taká halus. Som minulý akorát pozeral to také jedno video. To mi akože dosť prišlo také real. Pretože keď si zoberieš tak od nejakých 50 rokoch, tak proste oni chceli ako keby uhladiť stopy a chceli proste ukázať, keby, že tí mimozemšťania sú zlí. Vieš, a pritom oni napríklad nemusia byť absolútne zlí, pretože vždy každý, keď prišiel do nejakého stretu s tými mimozemšťami, tak povedali, že nechcem, ako cítili sa divne, ale že cítili sa šťastní, alebo treba, že aj pokojní, hej? Akože cítili sa divne, ale treba, že vôbec im nechceli ubličiť. Treba aj keď sme pozerali o tom Travis Scott, alebo ako sa volal, ten drevorúbač, čo ho uniesli, tak tiež spravili film ako v Hollywoode, že mu tam proste napchali, ja som to pozrel, napchali mu tam akože všelijaké hadice a neviem čo proste do krku a tak, furt bol to úplný kentusnus, ale proste nám to ukázali, ako keby tí mimozemšťania ho chceli skúmať a neviem čo proste, akože ukázali ich tam ako zlých. Ale ten Travis, on keď o tom hovoril, a ja som doslova som pozeral nejaký taký, ja neviem, či to nebol to dokument, ale on to tam akože popisoval všetko. Tak ono to bolo rozprávané akoby v pohode, vieš, že oni mu absolútne neublížili nič, proste on sa tam dokonca ešte aj prechádzal po tej lodi, im ho akože sprevádzali, vieš, akože vôbec nejak mu neublížili. Práve, že on bol ten, ktorý bol ako ten agresor, pretože sa bál. Hej? Ale neviem, čo si o tom myslieť, je to fakt dosť zaujímavé. Z časti sa to už tak nejak akože prepletáva, keby si pozeral viacerých takýchto všelijakých typkov, tak oni niektoré tie ich tvrdenia sa strašne ako keby spájajú. Vieš? A pritom sú to úplne, ale že úplne odlišní ľudia. To je akože halus. A preto si myslím, že oni to napríklad ani nechcú, trebárs americká armáda to ani nechce nejak zverejniť, trebárs takéto. Oni to majú doslova iba na nejaké výskumy, alebo treba, že s nejakou loďou sa napríklad dostali do Francúzska. Sa mi zdá, že do Francúzska na nejaké ihrisko, alebo kam sa to oni dostali. Treba, že majú naozaj, že neviem, že americká armáda, ale proste nejaký tajný americký program má loď, z ktorého sa dostali proste do Francúzska a žiadne radary, nič ťa ani nezaznamenali, vieš? Že to proste technológia, ktorú ty na našej planete ju nezískáš. Že proste je z úplne iného sveta. To je ako halus. Ale že totálna halus. A oni za toto nechcú nejako zverejniť, pretože oni dokonca som pozrel jedného z týchto, čo akože hovoria o tom, že oni už vedia, ako vytvoriť takú tú čistú energiu, ale že nechcú to dať ako keby na verejnosť, pretože však samozrejme, vieš, tu máš všelijaké korporáty a to by proste bol totálny chaos. Vieš, že proste zrazu by si už nepotreboval trebárs ťažiť ropu napríklad. Alebo by si nepotreboval vyrábať automobily. Vieš, že a takéto halúze. A kámo, to by úplne prevrátilo celú ekonomiku. Alebo že čistá energia, kámo. Vieš, žiadny plyn, proste nič. Mal by si proste čistú energiu. A oni preto to nechcú nejako zverejniť, pretože by nastal totálny chaos. Snažia sa nejakým spôsobom prísť tým, ale v takých malých mieritkách. ale žiadna vec ti proste nedá to, alebo teda žiadna z tých tajných programov, ja neviem, služba, alebo ako to nazvať, ich, alebo ani nie, že služba, ale proste také tie tajné programy, tak nikto ti to proste nezverejní. Pretože by to vyvolal totálny chaos, pohromu a už by proste nefungovala nejaká, že nízka trieda, stredná trieda, vieš, alebo teda stredná vrstva, vieš, alebo že bohatá vrstva, tak. Že proste to všetko by zaniklo, úplne. Že proste všetci by sme boli seberovní. Dokonca, že vraj tam majú niečo aj na liečenie. Keď som raz jedného pozrel typka, takže vraj tam majú niečo aj na liečenie. Že normálne treba sa, že ti to doplní končatinu. A tak je to auze. Ale proste neviem, ako pozrel som už viacerých týchto všelijakých typkov, čo proste hovorili o rôznych zaujímavých veciach. Neviem komu veriť, to ťažko povedať, ale je zaujímavé, že tí ľudia sa absolútne nepoznajú, ale proste nahrajú nejaké video a vieš, že sa tam nejaké tie veci docela spájajú. Že nie všetko, ale niektoré veci sa tam spájajú. A potom, keď začneš pozerať, trebárs, čo pozerávam tých typkov, keď tieto slyšenia, tak oni tiež tam napríklad hovoria o rôznych veciach. Ale že úplne o rôznych takých veciach, že proste tajné programy existujú a že nikto to nechce proste zverejniť, vieš? A úplne je to tam ako, že sedí do tých príbehov, čo trebárs niekto vypráva. To je ako halus. Úplne. Dobre, toto si už asi pozrieme zajtra už